Welcome back to the class. Now we'll be talking about the background editor. Alright, so anything that has to do with designing the background is going to be done when this particular icon is highlighted. Okay, right. So let's do a recap of what we did. Not really a recap, but just to show you something. Now, you see, this new text is highlighted, but it does not have any effect on the background. Just except that a text editor is what's highlighted. So now on this background editor, it has to do only with the background, right? Now you can come and choose a color for your background. You can come to this color. When you click on it, you can either choose a plain color, right, depending on your designs, right. You can also use a gradient, right. You can make this depending. You can still, like I told you, you can still create your own. Right. You can still create your own gradients. So you use the same formula I taught and also use that to create your own gradient depending on what you're looking for a particular design. Now, transparency is when you're trying to make sure that everything is just in a PNG format, right? A transparent image, and that's helpful when you're trying to create logos that you don't want to have backgrounds. You can just come here, click on the background editor, make it transparent, and you just go. Right, so let me take that back. Okay, so now still looking on the image of the background editor. You come to image size. So how do you want your total image to look like? It is determined in the background, particularly the image size. So you can come here. You see that this is equal from aspect ratio is 1:1. So if you want to come and make it 16:9, just like a YouTube thumbnail, one of the ways you can just do it, just to trying to make sure that this aspect ratio becomes 16:9. You can just come and click on you can still come and click 16,000 by 9,000 or 900. It gives you that 16:9 ratio. Once you click on OK, it takes the form of a YouTube thumbnail, right? So all these things are or more, right? So you just play around with this. You can really play around with this. See, it still give you the same aspect ratio. So just play around with this now. Looking at image size. You can just do a lot. 1 to 80. 1 to 80. You can even make it the width should be 1000 and the height should be 15. It will give you a long, right, a lot of all these things. So that is that for that. So now you go to image. Image is just like this image does not really make much sense, right? Because they are giving you from what they already have as a template, which to a large extent is not what you start using, right? So I don't normally make use of this. Is if you want an image from your gallery to be a background for you, you have to come, right? You have to come to the from gallery. Then from there you go to your gallery. Okay, so I might decide, okay, I want my picture to be my background, right? And choose after doing the cropping and everything. I can click on OK, and this becomes my background. I can then type on it. Okay, so now you can also do the same thing with anything. You can also do the same thing with all your designs. You can do that with some of your designs. You can do that with all depending on what you want, right? So just play around with it, right? You just be creative with it. That makes a difference in your design. You'll be creative with it. And from camera is not of much sense. It's just like you taking a picture, and that picture immediately becomes your background. Of course, it does not make sense. So this is the small thing that are actually related to background editor, but they are very important still, right? They are still very important. So okay, that is the end. I think with that we'll come to the end of this image editor class. I think the next one will be on how to create flyers, a simple flyer, so that it will really be practical to you. Okay.